Hello, in today's video, I would like to share with you 5 best practices for maintaining consistency across cloud environments. So let's get started. The first best practice that I could share with you will be to actually centralize all of your projects. For example, here we have the project Brembo trainings, multi-cloud strategies, and for example, use cases. In each project, you have different environments, so you can see them here, from dev to prod to QA and to staging. And in each environment, you have different infrastructure. So like that, you can centralize the way you work on Brainboard as well. So here, for example, for the AWS Parallel Cluster, you can see it here, as well as the Azure DDoS Protection Plan, as well as the GCP Load Balancer. So, for example, we are going to first work on the Azure DDoS Protection Plan. So here, we simply need to go to Azure. So here we will have all the resources that we can use to either design this infrastructure or simply maintain it. We have the Terraform code here with all the Terraform files. We also have the input with the variables that you can create, but also the locals. So here, the first thing that we would like to do is to actually design our CI/CD workflow. So simply need to go to new workflow. And then the first task that we would like to do will be, for example, a Terraform validate to check that the syntax is actually correct. So here, Terraform validate. Then here, we will do a Terraform plan. But of course, you can also provision new infrastructure directly from Brainboard by doing a Terraform apply. So here, Terraform plan. And now we would like to check, for example, the security of this infrastructure. So security check. And then we would like also to do a cost estimation with infra cost. So for example, here we have cost estimation. This is the API key that we can use, and now we can close it. So here, one of the first best practices as well is to actually do a Terraform validate, then a Terraform plan to actually check that the Terraform code that has been automatically generated from your design is actually valid, then to do a TFSec, so security check, to scan the Terraform code and detect any potential vulnerabilities, then to do infra cost to be able to have a breakdown of the cost of these resources. So now that we have designed it, we can save the workflow, and here we will run the pipeline. So here, as you can see, you will have the output of the Terraform validate here. Success, the configuration is valid. Now we will have the output of the Terraform plan as well. So here we wait a little bit. So here, as you can see, the output of the plan, 9 resources to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. Now we also have the output of TFSec, no problem detected. So everything is working fine. And then now we are actually running InfraCost. And here, as you can see, we have the overall total cost is $94. Here we have the monthly quantity unit as well as the monthly cost. Now that we have done that, we can go back to the design. And here, let's say that we would like another team member to be able to use this infrastructure in another environment. So what we can do is that we simply need to clone or create the template. This we will create the template. Either organization or public, we will keep it as organizations or private. Here we have the name. So for example, security check plus cost estimation for Azure DDoS. So for example, it could be the name of this new infrastructure. We publish it to the catalog. So now let's say that another team member would like to use it in, for example, in prod. So it just need to open the prod environment. It goes to templates. Then here, you look at the security check is here. So here on the left side, you will see the design, but as well as the Terraform code. So now, of course, you can do the same thing for AWS and GCP. Now, let's say, for example, that one of your team members would like to work on AWS. So here, we simply need to go to AWS, this one here, and then you would like to work on QA. So here is very easy. You simply need to clone the architecture from dev to QA. Then here we keep the name as it is. And then we clone the architecture. Now, as you can see here, when you open this architecture, you are in QA. So the environment has been modified. Here you can do all the modification that you want as well. So the two environments are isolated this way. And here, for example, what you can do is to go now to dev, GCP load balancer. And this time, let's say that you would like another team member to be able to work in the staging environment. So what you need to do is here, you clone the architecture. This time you choose staging. You keep the name as it is or you can modify it. And then you sync the two environments together. So here we will be in staging. So here we are in staging. So we open the architecture. Here we go to GCP. And here, for example, you see that the two environments actually synced with these two architectures. So here, for example, you can create a version. So here, initial commit. And now, for example, you would like to add, let's say, another region. And in this region, let's say here it will be US, or here would be Los Angeles. And you would like to add, for example, in this region, it's just an example, you can add a new resource. So here you can create a new version, say added resources and region. So here you commit. Here you can go back to initial commit, but as well as added resources here. So here you have a global history of all the changes that happen on your infrastructure. If you want to see what happened in your dev environment, then you can open this architecture in the dev environment. As you can see, it has been reflected. So everything that you do in one environment will be reflected into the other one, except the variables. So for example, here I'm going to go to input. I'm going to create, for example, tests. So here you can create either variables at the organization level, project, environment, architecture. Here you choose, for example, string, and here you say, for example, test. So you create this new variable. Now you would like to see what happened in the staging environment. So as you can see, you are in staging. You look at the input, and here, the variable that you have created into the other environment is not reflected here. So this is the way you can also delimit and isolate environments together by using variables. So I hope this video has been useful for you, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to help you build your own use case on Brainboard. Have a great day.